A single clip, a few seconds, and suddenly the entire fandom is holding its breath. Was that really Wang Yibo walking through Shanghai airport? And just behind him, was that Xiao Zhan? No announcement, no confirmation, just a moment caught on camera that might mean everything. It started like any other ordinary day at the airport. Crowds moving in rhythm, luggage wheels echoing across polished floors, cameras casually recording moments that usually fade into nothing. And then everything shifted. A figure appeared, dressed entirely in black, mask covering his face, cap pulled low, hiding his eyes, a backpack slung effortlessly over his shoulder. It was subtle, almost invisible, but not to fans, because even when he tries to disappear, Wang Yibo is impossible to miss. His walk, fast, focused, deliberate. His aura, calm, distant, untouchable. Security walking close, forming a quiet shield around him. People began to whisper, phones slowly raised. A ripple of recognition spreading through the crowd like electricity. And just when it felt like the moment had already reached its peak, something unexpected happened. Behind him, just a few steps away, another figure entered the frame. At first, no one reacted, because the second figure looked just like any other traveler trying to avoid attention. Dark outfit, mask, head slightly lowered. But then, someone paused the video, zoomed in, and everything changed. The shoulders, the posture, the quiet elegance in the way he walked. Fans started asking one question. Could that be Xiao Zhan? The name spread instantly. Comment sections exploded. Frame by frame analysis began. Clips were slowed down, sharpened, compared. Because for fans, this wasn't just about recognition. This was about possibility. Two names that once stood side by side. Two stars who created something unforgettable together. Now appearing, possibly, in the same place again, even if only for a few seconds. That was enough to shake the entire fandom. The video offered no clear answers, no exchanged glances, no subtle nod, no moment that could undeniably confirm what everyone wanted to believe. Just two figures moving within the same space, separated by a few quiet steps. And yet, that silence spoke louder than anything. Because in the world of fandom, absence of proof doesn't erase meaning. It deepens it. Fans began to slow the footage even further. Every movement became a clue. Every shadow, a question. Was the distance intentional or simply coincidence? The way Wang Yibo walked ahead, focused, guarded, almost unreachable, felt consistent with everything fans already knew about him. Reserved, private, controlled. But behind him, that second figure carried a different energy. Soft, composed, almost gentle in presence. And that contrast, it reminded fans of something they couldn't easily forget. A dynamic, a memory, a feeling that once connected two names, Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo, in a way that transcended screens. But this time, there was no script, no characters to play, no story being officially told, just reality, or at least something that looked like it. And that's what made it so powerful. Because if this truly was just coincidence, then why did it feel so intentional? Why did the timing align so perfectly? Why did the distance feel so carefully measured? Or was it simply the human heart, trying to find patterns in moments that were never meant to connect? The questions kept growing, but the answers stayed just out of reach. As hours passed, the clip didn't fade. It spread across platforms, across languages, across continents. Fans from different parts of the world watched the same few seconds and felt completely different things. Some were overwhelmed by emotion, not loud, chaotic excitement, but something deeper, a quiet ache, a sudden warmth, a feeling they hadn't expected to return. Because for them, this wasn't just about what was seen. It was about what was remembered. The past resurfaced, not as controversy, not as headlines, but as emotion. Moments once shared on screen, now echoing through a real-life possibility. Others chose distance. They analyzed carefully. They reminded everyone to stay grounded, to respect privacy, to not turn speculation into something heavier than it should be. And then, there were the silent ones. The ones who didn't comment, didn't argue, didn't post theories. They just watched. Again and again and again. Because sometimes words aren't enough to explain what a moment feels like. And sometimes it's safer to keep that feeling to yourself. Protected, untouched, unspoken. What made this moment extraordinary wasn't confirmation. It was connection, not between the two figures on screen, but between the memory and the people watching it. A shared understanding, a shared history, a shared emotion that didn't need validation. And in a world where everything is constantly explained, clarified, and exposed, this moment chose to remain incomplete. And somehow, that made it even more real. So what really happened in that fleeting moment at the airport? Two individuals walking through the same space under the same lights captured by the same camera. Nothing more, nothing less. And yet, it became everything. Not because of what was proven, but because of what was felt. Because sometimes the most powerful stories don't come from certainty. They come from possibility. The possibility that two paths may have crossed, even briefly. The possibility that timing aligned without intention, or maybe with it. The possibility that something ordinary became extraordinary simply because people cared enough to see it that way. Wang Yibo continued walking, unbothered, focused, distant, and behind him, whether it was truly Xiao Zhan or not, the figure remained just far enough to keep the question alive. Not confirmed, not denied, just there. And maybe that's the quiet beauty of this story. No statements were made, no explanations given, no narratives controlled. Just a moment, raw, unfiltered, open to interpretation. And now, it lives in the minds of those who watched it, replayed in late-night thoughts, discussed in quiet conversations, felt in ways that words can't fully capture. So let me ask you something, not as a viewer, but as someone who felt that moment, even just a little. When you saw those two figures in one frame, did you see coincidence? Or did you feel something more? Because sometimes, the truth doesn't lie in what the camera shows, but in what your heart chooses to believe.